What about when you're in NXT? What about, did you have a working relationship, or a better one at least, or a closer one with Triple H?
Oh yeah, yeah, Hunter. So it was just such a different world when we went up to the main roster. But yeah, we had a really close working relationship with Hunter at NXT, and a lot of the reasons why we were so successful was because of him, and it was because of Dream. Dream and Hunter and Bill DeMott at that time had a lot of influential power on the way things were done down there, and they believed in us. So, and I mean, obviously, you could see, what the outcome was. But yeah, there wasn't a doubt in my mind that you could go to Hunter and you could speak with Hunter and you could talk to Hunter, and whether it's working relationship type stuff or personal things or whatever it might be, he was always there and he was always open to listen. He always lended an ear.
Did you guys ever try to maybe lobby him, say, hey, can we come back to NXT if they have nothing for us here at Raw and SmackDown?
No. Honestly, I think by that point, I think the damage was done mentally to us. We had just given up. We folded. Like, it was just one of those things where, it was like beating a dead horse. And part of us, I think, wanted to reach out, but the other part of us was like, man, we're probably going to be possibly treated the same way. Like, we didn't know. That's how much that place had gotten to us. I can't tell you how many times we saw fans, going, message boards or hit you on Twitter or, say things that they would say, and you just want to be like, hell yeah, like, we hear you, like, we totally agree with you, but at the same time, it's different when you're wearing our shoes too.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that was one of the things I always noticed with you guys. Is I always thought, you guys had, I mean, this is such a visual business, and you guys had you're so eye catching, and then you particularly, with your size, I'm always one of those people. I believe in the tail of the tape, and I believe how it looks on a billboard. I'm like, you know what? If they had you disappear for a little bit and let you come back and put investment in you in time, they could put you up against anybody. They could sell you as somebody who has size to stand across from Brock Lesnar. Not saying you'd win, but I always thought like you guys had such potential, and then how athletic and capable Victor was. I was always kind of amazed that it kind of went the way it did.
Yeah. I think you and a lot of other people, to be honest with you. I know two guys especially, one of them on the other line, with you right now. But it's like you can do two things with this. You can either be really aggravated and frustrated, like some of these quote unquote pricks that they leave the business and then they just want to crap all over everything, or you just kind of take it for what it is, and you still just be thankful and grateful for everything. Because here's the reality of it from my aspect of it. If it wasn't for WWE, I never would have met my wife, because we originally met in Deep South. Had I not met my wife, I never would have had my son. You know what I mean? So had I not have been with WWE, I'd never have had, I would never financially have the things that I have right now. So there is that part of me that's very grateful for WWE.
Sure.
So I try to look at everything on the positive aspect of things. I can walk around and tell people, I don't go work for that company, this and that. But the reality is I want everybody to work for that company. I want everyone to make money and to love. Just because our experience was the way that it was doesn't mean that's how it's going to be for everybody.
Sure. And those are great takeaways.
If that makes sense.
No, and those are great takeaways. No, those are great takeaways as you mentioned with your family. And I mean, and like you said, yeah, I mean, obviously financially, I mean, what not asking for your tax returns here, but like, I mean, when guys go from NXT and then you get that call to Raw or SmackDown, I mean, how significant of a pay change are we talking about?
Oh, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
it can be really good. It can be really good. It's life-changing money,
okay.
And not to say, I don't even know what the NXT pay scale is anymore, because it's been 5-6 years since I've even been down there. You know what I mean? So I'm not one of those guys that likes to go around and being like, hey, what are you making? Or I'm not nosy. I don't really care about people's personal issues other than their well-being. It's like, hey, dude, you okay? But I'm never like, hey, man, how was your paycheck this week? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it is. But to transition from that NXT roster to the main roster, you're talking big money. And with big money, comes different attitudes. And, it's a big deal. It can be a very big deal, when you're, one of the top guys, like, guys like Roman, guys like, that were there previously, like Cena and Batista, I mean, you're talking big money for these guys, but there's also a lot of sacrifice put into it too, because those guys need to go home, to see their families.
Sure.
Because they're out promoting, they're out doing signings, anything they can do. So,
did you guys still see financial reward? Like if you're doing like an Andre Battle Royal at WrestleMania, is there still a WrestleMania bump, or did that change when the network came along? And
oh yeah. No. Yeah, no. Everything was great, from pay-per-view buys or action figures or whatever it was. It was always good money. It was just a matter of how smart were you with your money.
Sure.
So, like, some things that I did is I was making sure that I was taking online courses, things like that, to learn how to invest money, to learn how to protect my family. So, a lot of things that I did with my money, I maneuvered it around to the point to where I made sure that my family will always be taken care of. So every little dime I got, I'd always make sure 20% of it went to my son's college tuition. I would always, like, that was just naturally, just the way things. I paid all my debt off. Like, I just made sure that I could always be comfortable.
You were taking online courses while you were at WWE.
Absolutely. Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
That was important. It wasn't like anything big. I wasn't like going to like Harvard Online or anything like that. But I wanted to learn how to manage my money. I come from a very not poor, but I come from a struggling family. So I always knew by seeing things like that that's not what I wanted. So when the opportunity presented itself and I saw this bump in pay, I was like, okay, listen, man, we got to get our stuff together and we got to make sure that we're smart with our money, because the one thing I can't stand seeing, that I'm sure a lot of these people that are going to listen to this have seen it or know someone that has seen this, is that you look at some of these veterans that have, the 80s and, maybe even some of the 90s that are struggling financially, and it just breaks your heart, and that's not what I wanted for me or my family. So I just made sure to set myself up, the best I could with what I had.